JADAM Fertilizer. Secret, boost garden soil, fast with potatoes and microbes. JADAM Fertilizer. Boost your garden with potatoes and microbes. If you've been around gardening circles long enough, you've probably heard whispers about the Korean natural farming movement and its down-to-earth cousin, JADAM farming. What exactly is JADAM Fertilizer? JADAM stands for Jangdoin Agricultural Method, which loosely translates to people's farming. It's a Korean system built on one simple principle: nature already knows best. Instead of buying expensive synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, and soil amendments, JADAM encourages us to use natural, local, and cheap resources to cultivate a self-sustaining garden. At the heart of JADAM is the idea that microbes run the show. Healthy soil isn't just dirt, it's a living community filled with bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and other tiny helpers. JADAM fertilizers are designed to feed and multiply these microbes so they in turn nourish your plants. And here's where potatoes step in, unexpectedly powerful in this system. Why potatoes are the secret weapon. Potatoes are more than just comfort food. In the garden, they play a surprising role as microbial boosters. Potatoes are rich in starches, which act like rocket fuel for microbes. Think of starch as fast food for bacteria. They multiply quickly when it's available, creating a surge of life in your soil. When you use potatoes and JADAM fertilizer, you're giving your soil's microbial army the energy they need to expand, colonize, and break down organic matter. This leads to more available nutrients, stronger roots, and resilient plants. The beauty of it? Potatoes are cheap, widely available, and often lying around in your pantry. Even sprouted or soft potatoes that you wouldn't cook can find a second life as garden gold. Alright, let's roll up our sleeves. Here's the practical side, how you can actually create this at home. First, gather your ingredients. You'll need a few medium potatoes. Old or sprouted ones work just fine. Some water, preferably rainwater or dechlorinated tap water. A clean bucket or container with a lid. And finally, a microbial starter. This can be a handful of healthy garden soil, leaf mold, or forest soil. Basically anything alive with microbes. Next, cook the potatoes. Boil or steam the potatoes until they're soft. This step breaks down the starches and makes them more accessible to microbes. Then, mash or blend the cooked potatoes into a slurry with some water. Pour this into your bucket. Alright, now it's time to inoculate with microbes. Just add your soil or leaf mold. This is your starter culture, the microbial population that's going to feast on that potato starch and multiply. Next, top it off with water. Go ahead and fill the bucket, but leave a bit of headspace at the top. Give it a good stir, then loosely cover it with a lid. You want it covered but not airtight, because those microbes need some oxygen to do their thing. Now let it ferment. Just leave the mixture in a shaded, warm spot for about a week. Stir it every now and then. You'll probably notice some bubbling and maybe even a slightly sour smell. That's the microbial party happening inside. After about 7 to 10 days, your JADAM potato fertilizer is ready to use. So, how do you use it in the garden? Well, this fertilizer isn't meant to be poured straight onto your plants in concentrated form. It's pretty potent stuff. You'll want to dilute it at about 1 to 20 with water. That's 1 part fertilizer to 20 parts water. You can use it in 2 main ways. First, as a soil drench. Just pour it directly around the base of your plants. This way, you're infusing the root zone with all those microbes and nutrients. Second, as a foliar spray, just make sure to strain the liquid well and then spray it on the leaves. The microbes and nutrients can actually enter through the leaf surface, which helps boost plant health and resistance. I recommend using it every couple of weeks during the growing season. Over time, you'll start to notice your soil becoming softer, more crumbly, and alive with worms and fungi. So, here's why this works so beautifully. The potato provides these simple starches that, well, microbes just gobble up. As the microbes digest, they multiply. And their byproducts, things like enzymes, organic acids, and nutrient-solubilizing compounds, become available to your plants. It's like having an invisible workforce that breaks down minerals, unlocks nutrients, and protects roots from disease. Plants fed with microbial-rich fertilizers often grow sturdier and show fewer pest problems because they're supported by a thriving underground ecosystem. Experienced gardeners know when the soil is alive, everything else falls into place. JADAM potato fertilizer is one of the simplest, cheapest ways to make that happen. So, why does this method really stand out? Well, plenty of natural fertilizers exist: compost tea, worm castings, fish emulsion. But JADAM potato fertilizer has some unique advantages. First, it's cost-effective. You can make gallons for just pennies. Second, it uses local resources, so there's no need for store-bought additives, just soil, water, and potatoes. Third, it's microbe-focused. It's not just about feeding plants, but about building soil health for the long term. And it's adaptable, working in vegetable gardens, flower beds, or even orchards. And let's be honest, there's something deeply satisfying about taking scraps that might have ended up in the trash and turning them into life-giving elixirs for your garden. Alright, here are some tips for best results, straight from my own trials. First, don't rush fermentation. If it still smells like raw potatoes, just give it more time. The sour, slightly earthy smell is a sign it's ready. Store any leftovers in a shaded area, and it can last several weeks if loosely covered. Always dilute before applying because concentrated fertilizer can overwhelm tender roots. And for even better results, rotate between this fertilizer and other natural brews like compost tea or seaweed extract to give your garden a balanced diet. Gardening isn't about buying the fanciest amendments on the shelf. It's about learning to partner with nature, using what we already have, and nurturing life in the soil. JADAM fertilizer made with potatoes and microbes is a perfect example of that philosophy. Simple, affordable, and incredibly effective. So next time you spot a sprouting potato in your pantry, don't toss it. Give it a new purpose in your garden. Your soil will thank you, your plants will thrive, and you'll feel more connected to the natural cycles that make gardening so magical. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to subscribe to SoilSage Chronicles for more hands-on gardening wisdom. Share this article with a fellow gardener who could use a little microbial magic in their life. Let's keep growing, together.